After producing over 10,000 ads, we just understand what hooks work and what kind of hooks don't work. You just understand the pattern. When you're a creative strategist or you do growth marketing, one of the most important things is pattern recognition. And as we did it for multiple brands across multiple industries and different countries, we actually know what works. And I can tell you most of the time, it really is no rocket science. Hey, I'm Bernhard, founder of the agency. We work for several brands like Jones Road, Gießwein, Waterdrop, and many more in many different countries. And I'm happy to show you how you can use our hooks for your own brands or for your own clients that you work with. So let's jump straight into one of the hooks that we call the ego poke. So why do we call it the ego poke? We basically tell people something that they already know or they think they know, and we challenge them in their beliefs. Let's jump into one of our hooks creatives that we did for Petromax, right? It's a camping outdoor brand, and we wanted to advertise one of their frying pans that you can use on different surfaces. And the cool thing for this specific pan is that the more often you use it, the better the pan gets. So people fall into disbelief, and that's why we're challenging them. Let's open this up and let's have a quick look at the ad itself. So there we go. All right.
Ich wette, du hast noch nie eine Pfanne gehabt, die mit der Zeit immer besser wird. Kennst du das auch?
So basically what she says is, hey, I bet you never had a frying pan that gets better after every time using it. And let's look at the hook rate that we had here, right? So you can see we spent roughly 9K on it. We had different versions of it. I mean, we did quite a lot of sales for it, as you can see, over 200. And it was our best seller, but it was a low AOV product, you know? So we shifted our strategy a bit. You can see amazing click-through rates. I mean, CPCs of 40 cents. I bet you would like to have it, right? And we can basically reach net new customers on, like, I would say, a very competitive CPMRs. So coming over here, we can see that the hook rate is 34. We usually aim for 35, right, for the hook rate. So we're roughly at our goal here, right? And we just understood that this worked kind of well. I also checked another video that we're having. There we go. Basically the same.
Ich wette, du hast noch nie eine Pfanne gehabt, die mit der Zeit besser wird. Kennst du das?
So basically she says the same, and we can see also here a very strong hook rate. We're roughly at 50. So the only change that we can see is we have a different creator. While the first creator was a bit more younger, the second one was a bit more mature, and we can immediately see that there's like a shift in hook rate. Basically the same text has been said. So when we understand what kind of hook works, we're basically trying to connect with different creators that we worked with previously and try to see what phase works best and so on. What's really important for you to always understand, and I'm really preaching it with all those changes coming up, is you have to do your research first, right? Understand who your persona is, because creative strategy is in 2026 persona-based creative strategy. Understand who your persona is and who you're talking to, right? While we first saw that we think that there are a lot of young people wanted to do outdoor, not get rid of social media, but you know, just escape the matrix a little bit. We wanted to target them, but at the same time, we knew that one of the biggest audiences for outdoor are still people 35 plus, because they have the money and they just go out, right? There's a lot of research behind it, but just to break it down quickly. So we had those two different creators and a second creator that the hook rate was amazing, right? So this is like one of the creators I would like to go through and show you why it basically worked. What you have to focus on is if you do something like that, you can see in both creatives, we've been showing the pan immediately. So the visual, like the speaking and the visual, they're matching together, which is very important. And also what's very important is the energy, right? You have to have good energy when they're doing the ego poke. Plus the music behind it should also like match the energy, right? It's like so important. Why we can assume that there's quite a lot of people not using like the music function on Instagram because they're like public services and so on. You could still assume that there may be some that are still listening with their AirPods and so on. Have them in the loop or have everything together, like from copy text to visual to sound, right? Very important. Let's go to creative 2 for another brand, all right? So let's check the hook rate. So first of all, the CTR has been 4.5. I mean, that's pretty good, right? 50 cent CPC, all right? And then we can see hook rate of 26%. So we're a bit lower on our goal here. So we're still figuring it out here. In general, we spent on this one creative 1.6K. Let's go straight into the creative itself. Don't worry, we have several versions of this creative in our ad account. I just picked it for the purpose of checking it with you.
Absoluter Geheimtipp, dein Badezimmer ein Facelift zu geben. Hast du schon gehört, dass du jetzt ein gratis...
Okay, so as you can see, we're working here for Fossen. They're basically a towel brand, right? And what she says here is, here's an important secret for you. This is the way on how to give your bathroom a facelift. So first of all, we have the secret. Obviously, we are curious. Every human being is curious. So if you're curious, you will listen. And then we used the facelift word, and we did that on purpose. Why? Because, you know, we wanted to hit more of this wellness beauty audience, because they understand what a facelift is. You know, you give yourself a facelift, you go to the beauty doctor, a facelift, you know, it's just making everything a little bit cooler, newer. And we really tried to go into that target audience by using a word that they're like very familiar with. So this is like some sort of how you can actually target your persona based creative strategy target audience. So use words that they're using and that are very common for them. Then for another brand, it's a snack brand that we're having here. So let's check. Hook rate is 26%, hold rate 26%. So together, this is matching. This is quite okay overall. Let's...
Leute, no Gatekeeping. Wir bewerten heute unsere neuen Lieblingssnacks von Heimatgut. Platz 3, die Gemüse...
All right, so we have 2 young girls because we wanted to target younger people who are like basically, you know, doing Netflix and chill and stuff like that, right? We wanted to use like also younger language. That's why we say, hey guys, no gatekeeping. We're gonna rate those snacks for you, like our new favorite snacks for you. And then they're going through like those different snacks that you get from the taste pack, right? And they're just making 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever is good, and so on. And let's look at some numbers maybe. So as you can see, our CPO is like at 18, 19. And the average order value is like very low because it's, you know, business strategy is like around customer lifetime value. And you can see like that we have an average order value of 37. So CPO of 18 is pretty amazing. I mean, the ROAS is like 2, but we don't care too much about that as long as we hit our CAC goals, which we did here. We're giving them our honest opinion and so on. This was very important in this hook example. And let's go to running brand. You see different industries that we're working with. I have several things that we can look at, right? From 5K span to 2K span with pretty much an amazing ROAS in this case. CPO is quite okay-ish for the AUV that we're driving. CTRs in general, pretty good. And what do we have here? Like hook rates from 27 to 40%. Let's go to the 40% one.
Alle denken, dass Ultra-Trailläufer nur in den Bergen trainieren.
So first of all, who's the target audience? The target audience are people who are running trail, like off-road, right? So we understand who his target audience is, where they're living, what they're doing. So first of all, we want to be epic, right? What we did here. We used images that basically show you where those people are running, right? So they immediately understand what we want to talk about. Second of all, we're making immediate call out, right? Again, ego poke. Everyone thinks that trail runners are just like practicing in the mountains, right? Something where you say, well, you're running trails, obviously you should practice in a mountain, right? So we ego poke them and tell, hey, look, you believe something is true. I'm gonna tell you that's not the way forward, right? There is another option to that, what you believe, right? And as you can see, sound design, epicness is pretty high, right? Because we know that this industry is pretty competitive. So we want it to be like a bit more high quality, more epic, because also the AUV is around 200 euros. So people have to feel price immediately when they look at. They have to have this vision in their mind, right? When they think about trail running, that this shoe is, you know, exclusive, that you have it on the trails in the mountains where you most of the time are running alone, and so on. Let's jump to another one with 33% hook rate.
Kleiner Aufwand, große Wirkung. Mit dieser Technologie verlängerst du deine Flugfahrt.
So basically, here's the target audience are like runners who are pretty much, I would say, solution aware to product aware, all right? Because we're saying a small thing can lead to big advantages, right? And we're basically saying that when we have a new technology that gives you 13% more flying phase, when you run, there's like a short moment where you're flying, where both feet are above the ground, right? And when you do like competitive running, you understand that, you know that, and you're working on basically improving every bit of your run. So your next competition, you're even better without using more of your body's power energy. So we've been very specific here in what we're doing. We say new technology, and so we're trying to make them curious, keep them through the founder who is explaining it very well to watch the whole video. And you can see interactions are just proving that it's kind of working. And then we have this one here.
Das hier ist natürliches Doping. Mit dem Schuh verlängerst du nämlich deine Flugphase um.
So basically, again, same target audience, just a little bit variation in the hook. So he's showing the shoe and he's saying, this is natural doping, right? Again, doping is illegal. How can it be natural? So we're trying to be curious again, right? And showing the product again. So we're really focusing on the running community. They see it, you know, a visual can also do the targeting for your target audience. So let's break it down quickly. You just learned the ego poke. You just tell people, oh, well, something you believed is true, maybe is not true, right? And here's why. You understand your target audience because you did the proper research. Your copy, visuals, and music aligns. The energy is good depending on what you want to tell, but for the ego poke, energy should always be like pretty strong, all right? Basically, this is like the execution that you need to just like repeat amazing strong hook rate. So if you take one thing away from this video, the hook isn't just a small part of the ad. So when you do like a video, always have a lot of hooks ready. I would say 5 to 8. So you have a variation. The hook can basically say, is it a winner ad or is it not a winner ad, depending on how strong your hook is. So in the end, the better the hook, the better the body, the more important it gets for the people, more like valuable the product gets for your target audience. If you want to do it, just focus on a strong, clear hook concept, add them to your audience, geography, right? Test different angles and not just like small variations in general, and evaluate performance using the right metrics like hook rate, hold rate, what is the CTR, what is the CPMR if you want to try net new reach customers, etc. And that's basically on how we drive bigger performance or like growth to companies, because especially for UGCs, we're like pushing net new concept, net new growth. We're filling the top of funnel, right? And then in the lower funnel with static ads, we're basically, growing them with those last touch bottom of funnel ads. And basically that's what we exactly do, right? For different brands from Jones Road, from Waterdrop, Gieswein, and many more. So I'm from the agency based in Austria. We're working with different 7 to 8 figure brands right across Europe and the USA. And on average, we're like basically cutting the CAC by 30%. So if you're interested and you spend more than 50K a month, you can find the link in the description. Just hit me up. I'm always happy to give a free audit, walk you through what we do, what I spot in your ad account, and what we could maybe achieve together and what we could work on. So see you next week.